You're watching the SCAC Player of the Week interviews. It's week 3 of the 2021 fall season. Today we're joined by the SCAC Women's Cross Country Runner of the Week, Senior Abby Blackwood of the Trinity University Tigers. And Abby, congratulations and thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored and excited to be here.
Abby, you and the rest of your Tiger teammates coming off the second meet of the season this past weekend at the Abilene Christian Classic. Team putting forth once again another outstanding performance with a 4th place team finish against teams across all divisions, including placing 5 Tigers inside that top 30. Just take me through this past weekend from an overall team perspective. What was working well for this group out there? How much confidence do you gain as a team from yet another strong showing early in the season?
Yeah, great question. I would say going into this meet, everyone was really excited to have another chance to race. We haven't been racing every weekend because that would be a lot. And so everyone was really looking forward to that. We were also looking forward to having our first overnight trip of the season. That meant a lot for our team, especially for the freshmen, which make up a large portion of our team this year. Coming on to the race day, I would say that we knew conditions weren't going to be perfect. It was a bit warmer by the time of our race. I think it was already in the low 80s. And we also knew that the course was a little bit more challenging, just uneven surfaces, things like that. So I would say that going into the race, we all just wanted to pretty much have a positive attitude about being grateful to have this opportunity to race and know that this could be a really great learning experience. Maybe for us to be able to understand kind of where we're on in the season, and another really great chance to race against schools as well as NAIA. And I'd say that that's something that we definitely were able to accomplish throughout this race. And I think this really, again, just proved that as a team, we're able to work with one another. Our coach really emphasizes pack running and things like that, and being able to push your teammates. And once they cross the finish line, being there to help congratulate them, help them in any way. And I'd say this is something we were definitely able to accomplish throughout this race.
Individually, you continue a strong season, Abby, as once again you paced the Tigers for the second meet in a row, turning home at a 12th place individual finish, crossing the line of the 6K plus course in a time of 23:52. Just take me through your race. How were you able to be so successful out there? What was your race plan? And do you take confidence individually moving forward from a performance like this?
So going into this race, actually, I was not feeling too confident personally. I had some breathing issues earlier in the week. I think just with allergies, especially in San Antonio, that's been a little bit rough of an adjustment for me just coming back from California. So I was a bit nervous, I'd say more so than usual. Definitely excited to race again. And I had gotten some medication that helped me a bit too. But just coming into the race, I wanted to start out a little bit more conservatively. Again, I mentioned the conditions weren't ideal with the heat, and again with just kind of how I was feeling earlier in the week. So starting out a little bit more conservatively, seeing how I was feeling, and then dependent upon that, really starting to push forward and ideally getting faster each mile. And I'm really glad that I started out that way. I was able to start with one of our assistant coaches, Coach Bree Ratliff, who I ran with previously while she was at Trinity. She's an amazing runner. And we started out together, and I think starting off conservatively was a really, really smart move. You have a lot of girls that are pushing out at the beginning, wanting to be in that front pack, but we knew that we wanted to, start off a little slower and race smart, and knew that it was a longer race too, because we had just done a 4K 2 weeks before that. And so we were able to, after even the first half mile, 3/4 of a mile in, we're able to start picking girls off and one by one. And I think that really helps kind of keep you engaged during the race and maintain your focus. So I would say that definitely helped me. And just finishing strong, we obviously went a little bit off route for the course during the race. That was unexpected, but I would say if anything, that actually benefited me because, sometimes it's easy to zone out when you're running, and it allowed me to kind of re-engage and stay focused. And remember, we've only got, I think it was about a mile left at that point. And so just able to finish strong and, keep passing girls. I passed a girl right at the finish line, which I was really excited about. And, overall just being really grateful to have that racing opportunity.
Abby, I'm interested in your perspective coming off a season ago last year, your first collegiate cross-country season, one that obviously was much different and more condensed than a typical cross-country season with all of the hurdles that everyone had to go through and facing the pandemic. Despite that, very successful. Are you able to come in and have success early as SCAC Newcomer of the Year at the Cross Country Championships? What did you take away from last season? What were you able to learn that will really help benefit you as you move forward throughout the rest of this season?
Yeah, that was an incredible season, even though it was completely different than most normal seasons. For one, I'm very grateful that it was different because I had the opportunity to compete in my first collegiate cross country season, even if it didn't look as it normally does. I would say one thing that I definitely learned from those two races, I believe that was what I did in the spring or winter. I would say that I really took away the importance of teamwork and having your team there for you. This past year and a half has been really challenging. I think we all know that. Obviously, from an athletic perspective, having seasons canceled, postponed, things like that, just being kind of stuck in a rut of just practicing and not really having races or games to do can be really challenging for athletes mentally and physically. And I would say that, just having my teammates there to continue to push me in workouts, even if it was for a shorter amount of time that I was able to train with the team prior to that winter/spring season. The team just really creates such an amazing environment and really makes it fun. Even when you're having to run in a mask and things like that, which I can tell you is very challenging. They really they create an amazing environment. And, same with our coaches, being able to keep the team motivated and just do inter squad races and things like that when we're not able to compete against other teams has made me have such a memorable first collegiate cross country season. And I would say, since the spring, something that I've taken away from that as well, that I've been able to apply to this season. I would say just, the importance of being able to take every opportunity that you have, use that to your fullest. And, like I said, we don't have a ton of chances to race. And I think, going into each race, just understanding that, you never know what could happen, especially, we're still in a pandemic and, being grateful to have that opportunity to race and be with your teammates and have that, competition and just, giving it your all too. So I think that's something that I've really taken away from that. And especially since I am a grad student and this is my last cross country season. So I've just been really grateful to have the opportunity to continue to run with the team.
As we talked about, first collegiate cross-country season a year ago, but no stranger to Tiger Athletics, having been a member of the women's soccer program for the previous few years. How has that transition been for you? How did you get to this point in your career? Had you run cross-country previously? And how has that transition gone and being a member of this Tiger women's cross-country program?
So I mentioned I'm from Southern California and the Los Angeles area, and I think my first season of cross country I ran, I believe it was my sophomore year of high school. I didn't run my freshman year. I did track my freshman year in the spring. I had always played soccer, grew up playing soccer, absolutely loved it, but, just loved to run and was like, why not keep competing and have more chances to compete, but with just running. And so I started running track, and then the cross country coach was like, you should come out and run cross country. Ended up doing that. One of the best decisions I've ever made. I love running. It's for so many reasons. And, the team environment really is a big part of that. And so I ran my sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school. So I ran track and cross country and then was able to play soccer at the same time. So I never really had the chance to just run. And that was something that I always wanted to have. I always wanted to see kind of what my potential was in that sport if I wasn't having 2 to 3 soccer practices a week, which is obviously tiring, but I still loved it. But I made the decision that I wanted to play soccer in college. I just felt like the sport was a better fit for me for what I wanted to balance with academics, and especially just at Trinity going in, I honestly didn't even look at the running program at all. And so I came in being recruited to play soccer, which was amazing. I loved my time here playing with the team, learned a lot of really great lessons. And ultimately, my sophomore year when I was at Trinity, I had talked to the track coach and ended up running track. So I didn't run my freshman year, starting to see a trend here. And then started running track sophomore year spring. And then I was running distance. So I was running with the cross country team. I was training with them. And then I was continuing to play soccer in the fall, so I could never run a full cross country season. And I didn't mind it at the time. You know, I liked having both all year round. But then senior year rolls around, actually end of junior year, and the pandemic hits, obviously, as we all know. And with sports, sure enough, we found out that, you know, fall season sports weren't really going to happen for us. We were going to be able to practice, which still grateful that we were able to, but we weren't going to have any games, which meant most likely that the games were going to be pushed to the spring and the full season was going to be. And so I practiced with the soccer team all throughout the fall. You know, I had been with the team for 3 years. I wanted to be able to finish out and, you know, keep practicing, get to know the freshmen a bit. Which I'm really glad that I did. I actually ran with the cross country team before earlier on in the fall. I got to run with them a little bit while they were still doing captain's practices, which was really fun. So I was still able to be involved with the team and kind of hang out with them and still do some training. It really was not that hard of a transition because I had been with the team for the past, I think it was 2 years at that time, because I was training with them in the spring. The team was amazing. They were so welcoming. They were excited to have me running with them, which just, it made the transition that much easier. Just having that team that believed in me and wanted me there. And I just am so grateful I was able to have that opportunity. You know, trained really hard over winter break, went back home to California, and, you know, ultimately was able to have an awesome 2-race season. And I'm, again, so grateful I was able to have that, and so proud of my team for, you know, coming through and being conference champions with all the stuff that had happened that past year.
And finally, Abby, wrapping things up, Coach has talked about that pack running, the emphasis of the Tiger pack running at meets. You don't typically think of cross country as a team sport, maybe more of an individual sport, but you know, there really are opportunities to showcase some teamwork out there. You know, how do you take advantage of having those opportunities to showcase some teamwork, and how important has that been to the success of this group thus far this season?
Yeah, you know, I will say that I was someone that didn't even think cross country was much of a team sport originally. And as soon as I started running competitively, I realized how wrong I was about that. You know, even though you place individually and you can qualify for things like nationals individually, it's 100% a team sport. And pack running, not only in races, but in training, is crucial. Having people that, you know, are there for you, that you can train with and do those extremely challenging workouts with, that are pushing you to become faster, stronger, and just an overall better athlete every day, is really something that can't be emphasized enough. You know, throughout our team, we all kind of have our training buddy or, you know, training pack, depending on where we are and what pace we're at. But it really makes all the difference. And I can tell you, even this morning, I did part of my workout on my own, and I was immediately wanting my running buddy again. It really makes all the difference. And it's really fun too. You know, it adds an element of fun to it. And like I said, just continuing to push one another. And I think that transfers over a lot to the races. You know, if something happens to someone one week, you know, you rely on that teammate, especially that person that you're running with. You know, sometimes they got to pull you through the race. They got to help you out. When you're tired that last mile of the race and you feel like you're not going to finish, you know, you can look to your side or look in front of you, depending on where they are, and know that, you know, you're right there with them. They're going to help you through that. And I think ultimately that's a big reason why we've been so successful as a program. And just helping to add to that team culture that really is collaborative but challenging. And that's something that I've absolutely loved. And I'm so excited to see where that's going to take our team, especially this season. We've got some really, really strong packs. So I'm very excited for that.
A native of Malibu, California, and this week's SCAC Women's Cross Country Runner of the Week for Week 3 of the 2021 fall season, senior Abby Blackwood of the Trinity University Tigers. Abby, again, congratulations on your honor and best of luck as you continue to move forward throughout your senior season.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.